Right now Durk's world has been turned upside down. Just when he thought he'd left the streets behind, his PTH came crashing back harder than ever with federal charges piling up. Locked down in one of the roughest jails in the country and old beef still haunting him. Durk's in the fight of his life. In this video we're going deep on what's really going down with Lil Durk behind bars. Stick around because some of these details just might leave you speechless. Life behind bars. Lil Durk is really going through it right now. Just when he thought he was on the verge of turning his life around, everything flipped. Y'all remember right? Just a couple months back Durk took to Instagram making it loud and clear that he was leaving the old life behind. He posted, "Don't label me as anything outside of a man, a father and 100% Muslim." The voice he wanted everyone to know. He was stepping into a new chapter. He said he was done with the streets and from now on he was living by faith. His words hit hard. "If you follow me as a brother, a friend, an icon, follow me to my new chapter." It was a powerful moment, a sign that he was leaving all that street life in the past and moving forward. But now it seems like the past isn't quite done with him. On October 24th the rapper's journey took a hard left. That day Durk found out 5 of his close associates had been arrested just the day before. He knew right then that his past was catching up fast. So he tried to make a move. Durk booked 2 one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland. It was a desperate attempt to leave it all behind, but the last-minute bookings raised red flags right away. U.S. Customs and Border Protection flagged the flights and the FBI got involved. Turns out those commercial flights were just a cover. Durk had actually arranged for a private jet to leave Miami and head straight to Italy, hoping to slip away without the feds knowing. But it didn't work. On the evening of October 24th, just an hour before that jet was set to take off, FBI agents closed and they arrested him right there at the Miami area airport around 8 p.m. Durk was hit with a murder for hire charge and taken straight to Broward County Jail, held without bond. And let's just say, based on everything we've heard about Broward, he's not having a good time there. For those who don't know, Broward County Jail is the main lockup out in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, he didn't catch this charge in Florida, but since they picked him up there, that's where he's being held. Broward's got a rep for its strict conditions. And trust me, it's rough. The jail is right in the heart of Broward County, and it's so big they had to split it into 4 sections just to manage it all. The main jail is where they keep the high-profile, notorious inmates, so it's very likely that Durk's there too. Inside Broward they don't care who you are or how big your name is, it's all about the weight of your charges. No VIP treatment, no exceptions. Lil Durk isn't getting any special privileges here. He's playing by the same hard rules as everyone else. For someone used to a whole different lifestyle, this has to be a harsh new reality, one that hits different every single day depending on where you're placed. The security changes, but in the main jail it's full lockdown, maximum security. Broward's main jail is like an 8-story fortress with thousands of cameras watching every corner, every move. If Durk thought he might catch a break in here, he's got another thing coming, and it's not just the cameras keeping inmates on lock. Broward's known for its rough conditions, and there's a history of guards allegedly taking things way too far. Just look at the case of Kevin Desser, an inmate who got caught up with the staff during a mental health crisis. They say he was beaten so badly that he was left in a vegetative state and eventually passed away. And the guards aren't the only issue. Broward County Jail's been in the spotlight for a disturbing number of inmate deaths. In recent years, 21 lives lost in less than 3 years. These cases have only fueled demands for reform, with concerns about medical neglect and harsh treatment making headlines. The Broward Public Defender's Office has even called for outside oversight, pushing to expose what they describe as a culture and climate of neglect. One of the cases that hit hard was Joseph Kirk, a 34-year-old inmate who died in the facility's hospital. Kirk was there on a misdemeanor, locked up in the jail's detox unit where conditions reportedly were anything but good. His death, like so many others, raised big questions about the quality of medical care inside. According to the Public Defender's Office, Kirk might have died because of issues with detox protocols or even drugs smuggled into the facility, a grim reminder of the cracks in the system. The sheriff of the county even admitted that Broward lacked the resources to properly care for those who need it most. That's why the county recently approved a $1 million plan to improve mental health and substance abuse services for inmates. But here's the thing, the sheriff himself has said that $1 million won't do much. He estimates that Broward's jails would need about $122 billion over the next 2 decades just to get things on track. And let's be real, that kind of money isn't exactly pouring in. So Durk is looking at the same rough conditions and vulnerabilities that have made Broward infamous. And here's the real twist, Durk isn't the only big name in hip-hop dealing with this spot. YNW Melly's has been sitting in Broward for years facing double murder charges that have had the whole industry buzzing since day one. Back in 2018, Melly, real name Jamal Demons, was hit with charges for the murders of two close friends, Anthony Williams aka YNW Sack Chaser and Christopher Thomas Jr. known as YNW Juvie. The story is wild. The incident happened the night of October 26, 2018. Melly and his friends gathered for a late-night recording session. After the session, Melly, Sack Chaser Juvie and Courland Henry YNW Borland were leaving the studio together, but just hours later on October 27, Juvie and Sack Chaser were found dead, bodies riddled with bullets. Melly and Borland told police it was a drive-by shooting, but authorities weren't buying that story. NW allegedly rapped about the incident in his song Murder on My Mind. Many people believe lines like "I didn't even mean to shoot him, he just caught me by surprise, I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back and shot him twice" in the song shows his involvement. Prosecutors believe YNW Melly allegedly linked to the Bloods gang killed his friends over and creative credit. Since his arrest in 2019, Melly's case has been nothing short of chaotic. His first trial kicked off in 2023 but ended in a mistrial when the jury couldn't reach a verdict, pushing him straight into a retrial, and it's been delay after delay since then. Evidence, disputes, appeals, motions, the whole 9 yards. His retrial is now set for September 2025. But with every delay, Melly's just stuck in Broward with no end in sight, and it's taking a toll. The conditions at Broward are so rough that Melly actually filed a lawsuit against the Broward Sheriff's Office pushing for immediate release. His attorney Michael Appitti Jr. claims Melly's been held in solitary confinement for over 3 years without any contact with his family, including his mother. The lawsuit goes even further, saying his treatment violates multiple constitutional rights, the First, Fifth, Sixth, Eighth and 14th Amendments. But it gets deeper. The petition details an incident back in April 2022 where another inmate falsely accused Melly of planning an escape. That one rumor led to a full shakedown of his cell and even more restrictions on his communication. Now the petition is demanding Melly's immediate release, calling out the abusive and unconstitutional conditions he's been held under. To make things worse, Melly's tried multiple times to get some relief through the state courts, but every time he's been shut down. And you got to wonder, maybe Durk's starting to feel that same pressure now too. Broward doesn't care if you're famous or forgotten, and here everyone's up against those same harsh conditions. And with Durk facing his own charges in this infamous jail, he might just be getting a taste of the same brutal treatment that's kept Melly fighting for basic rights. And it's not just Durk and Melly who've had to face Broward's dark side. Shaw Kingston, known for his catchy hits and laid-back vibe, ended up behind those same bars earlier this year on serious fraud charges. Back in May 2024, Kingston and his mother Janice Turner were hit with allegations of a fraud scheme worth over $1 million. We're talking money, luxury jewelry, a Cadillac Escalade, high-end furniture. The works. Kingston was picked up by law enforcement while performing at Fort Irwin, an Army base in California. Meanwhile, his mother was taken down in a SWAT race at Kingston's rented mansion in Fort Lauderdale. Broward's authorities weren't holding back. A couple of months later, in July, a Miami grand jury officially indicted both Kingston and his mother on federal charges: 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 5 counts of wire fraud each. Prosecutors alleged that they scammed sellers of high-end cars, jewelry and luxury goods, pretending they paid through wire transfers when in reality no money had ever moved. The stakes are high. If convicted, they're each looking at up to 20 years in prison per count. After spending some time locked up in Broward, Kingston managed to post a $100,000 bond with his own home mortgage used as collateral. Once he got out, he took the social media with "It's great to be home. A special thanks to God, my family, my friends and my legal team." It was clear that life behind bars wasn't the vibe he was used to. A reality check that showed just how rough Broward can be right now. Durk's only break is that he's expected to be moved to California in the coming weeks where his alleged crime was committed. But let's not forget the federal CA